Hello everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel, I'm a writer, and I've made these series of videos to talk about my third poetry collection, Human Nature. I'm talking about my poetry style and why I write my poetry in this particular style, and I'm also talking about each poem, poem by poem, in their own individual videos. I wrote Human Nature over a series of a few months. I did complete most of the collection within like the first couple of months of this year, so January, February. I did start writing these poems towards the end of last year. I was actually writing the poems for this collection and also the poem for Love Letters at the same time. That's why the videos, in terms of the YouTube videos and the release of the collections, are in the same year and are very close together. This collection is different to my previous collections. Scars and Love Letters were about me finding an outlet for my emotions and expressing emotions I felt during certain periods of time, like particular periods of time, and what went on during these periods of time. So Scars focused on a period from March 2011 until about November 2012, and it was about a period of my life that was a very tough period of my life, not a great period of my life. Love Letters focused on my first long-term relationship, but however the collection was talking about a period of time that spanned about a year from when, and it was also talking about my feelings towards dating and relationships in general, but the period of time I focused on was about a year from meeting this particular person, like first meeting them, till about maybe a couple of months after the relationship ended. This collection doesn't focus on a specific period of time. It focuses on life, but I don't focus on anything particular. Like, I'm still being autobiographical, but it's with Scars and Love Letters, with focusing on a particular period of time and expressing my emotions and using the poetry as an outlet to express my emotions. It was like I was going from the inside out, whereas with this collection I'm taking a bird's eye view of life. I'm like a bird flying over life or flying over the world, and I'm flying down or swooping down and focusing on particular things. So rather than going from the inside out with my poems and my expression, I'm going from outside in. I'm focusing on specific types of people that I've come across in my life and other people would come across in their life, as well as specific aspects of society or rites of passage. And with these poems I'm thinking to myself, okay, like with feminism and religion and charity, and with people who are drama queens or who are all over the place, or about tall poppy syndrome and jealousy and envy, it's like, what do I think of jealousy? What is my view on feminism? What is my view on charities and religions who try to guilt people or force people into donating to the charity or being part of the religion? What is my view on tall poppy syndrome and jealousy and all sorts of things? I could go on and on. In terms of the title, it was originally going to be Tightrope, which is one of the names of one of the poems in the collection. It was going to be Tightrope because I feel that everyone walks a tightrope on life. However, as I was writing more and more poems and focusing on so many different things and so many different aspects of life in terms of rites of passage, aspects of society and people mainly, I felt that Human Nature was a better title for it, because I am exploring life and the nature of how people behave, or my interpretation of how people behave. This collection, going back to the whole out to in expression, I felt that this collection was a lot easier to write, a little less emotionally draining, because I wasn't as autobiographical. I wasn't focusing on like a specific period of my life, and I wasn't expressing emotions. If anything, it more triggered emotions, because I had to ask myself when I was writing these poems, how do I really feel about this? And it was fun, but it was tougher, because I already had the feelings and emotions and material in my head when I wrote Scars and Love Letters, and it was just a matter of expressing them. And this one I had to really think about it and really think about how I felt about these particular things and how I wanted to express how I felt through the writing. This collection is the longest collection. I think it's 18 poems in total. I could be wrong. So I've never written that many before, but in a collection. That being said, I was really, really inspired by this because I'm constantly questioning life and questioning society and questioning people and questioning nature, the nature of life and the nature of society. I'm questioning people's motives. I'm always questioning everything, and I even question myself. Like, I'm not putting myself up on a pedestal and saying I'm perfect and I don't have any flaws. Of course I do, but it's interesting. It was interesting to discover how I really felt about things. So I was quite satisfied. It took a long time to do the YouTube videos and do this recording because, again, the collection was so long. But you know what? That's just that's part of it. Like with the other collections, I did hear rhyming in my head. Not as relentless as the last couple of times. I wouldn't say I had to force it, but I really had to work on it, but that's not such a bad thing. Like with the other YouTube videos with my previous collections, this time, like with Love Letters, I actually created, or I made, I don't know what the right word is, I made a painting or did a painting, or I painted a work of art for this collection so the YouTube videos could be made. With this collection, the painting's not as good as the previous two. The reason why I did it this way is because I'm talking about life, and life is chaotic. That's why it's kind of all over the place. But with the painting, I'm making references to the different poems. So in the top left hand corner, you've got a love heart with a book on it with a wand. It is a wand, the star on the end, it is a wand, and that's a reference to Chasing Fairy Tales. Next to the heart with the wand and the book, I've got a megaphone, that's a reference to opinions. Below that, I've got the female symbol, which is a reference to Ladylike, the feminism poem. Next to that, I've got the lips with the, I don't know if it's a cross, but you see that with like non-smoking signs. That's a reference to Watch Your Mouth. The heart in the top right-hand corner, I tried making a flame within the heart. That's what that was supposed to be, but it went awry. Below that, and that's a reference to Soul of Fire, obviously. Below that, I've got the person, it was supposed to be a tightrope. That is a reference to tightrope, obviously, the person walking across what looks like a bridge. Below that, I've got a flower, which is a reference to Tall Poppy. And next to the flower, I've got a broken heart with the word best and friend on it, obviously a reference to best friend, BFF, best friend forever. Next to the Tall Poppy on the left of it, I've got a picture of two arrows, which is about updating and refreshing and changing. Below that, I've got the waves on the bottom of the painting. I've obviously got the crown with the word drama to reference drama queens. I've got the anchor and the cross referencing do-gooder, about charity and religion. I've also got the picture of the clock, which is a reference to invalid invalid. And it could also be a reference to updating, and it's about how time goes by and how fast time can go by and going forwards and going backwards in life. Above the clock, I've got and below the heart making reference to Chasing Fairy Tales, I've got the snowflake making the reference to flakes. And next to the flake, I've got the person looking over the fence. And I've also got several stick figures throughout referencing people. It's kind of, I can't draw people very well, but I feel that the stick figure is kind of makes a reference to an everyman or every woman. And you see that they've got arrows for hands, and that's a reference to blame game, but it's also a reference to just human nature in itself and how people treat other people. So that's it for the introduction. I am now going to talk about the collection and go through the collection and talk about it poem by poem.